Well, I'm probably going to title this video the Silver and the Disinformation Agents. And I know some people say I'm a disinformation agent. I was like, just because I don't get it right all the time, or whatever, half the time I'm right, half the time I'm wrong. Not a really good track record. But like, I'll just tell you one thing right now that I was right on about the oil. I said a few months ago or a couple months ago. Said it would be about 50 at the end of the year. It's 53. Now silver, I said 20. And they're like, oh, that freaking was way wrong. But usually oil is the predecessor for silver and gold to go up. In this case, oil's going up because of not tensions or anything. There's the same old ho-hum tensions there's always been, but because there was an agreement between the OPEC nations, particularly Saudi and Russia, to cut oil production. But I'm going to talk about a couple other things here because I know they concern people that are into silver because you're actually kind of fed up with the system, right? I mean, that's really what the deal is. I'm showing a picture here: parking corrupt politicians, yogi bears, and plant lovers. You have plant lovers, the freaking tree huggers, whatever you want to call them. I'm for the environment, but not the way some people are, that type of deal. But let me just say that the whole system, no matter, even if you're looking at the financial system, but it's not even that, it's everything. Really, one of the biggest problems we got going, besides the deal with the financial system, which people are trying to protect themselves against with buying and holding silver, is that you're being hammered by 50 million government rules from every which way from Sunday. And a lot of people, some of the naive people, or whatever people that are naive, they'll tell you, like, as long as you don't do anything wrong, yeah. That's that's what they used to say in the communist and Nazi states too, right? He who governs best governs least. That's an absolute true maxim from Thomas Jefferson. And the problems we got today actually stems from the not just big business being in bed with the media or the big business controlling the media, but big business also controls the banks control the entire financial system and government. And of course, they always like the government to get in debt because that is how they make money, right? Off the debt. Well, people are pretty much tapped out now. Now, I know the deal with the funny money that we use to buy things with, but I would encourage people not only to buy silver, but other things that could probably last you a long time. Now, I've been putting out a lot of knife videos lately. Now, I don't know if you're watching that because maybe just one of your people are just watching silver videos. You want to know what the price of silver is going to do. Well, I think it is going to start taking off a lot pretty quick. But as always, this damn metal is so damn volatile that you're probably going to have to see oil and gold go up first. Then you'll see silver skyrocket like crazy. That's usually been what happens. And usually oil goes up a lot because of major, major conflict in the Middle East. Now, is that going to happen? Maybe. Because some of the people that Trump has chosen are pretty hardliners. And I think they're, as far as like dealing with events in the Middle East, it could be. And you got to remember, we had 8 years of Obama with him building up the Iran nuclear program, which, all that's going to come to bear fruit later, and we're going to be dealing with it in the upcoming years. Now, for now, the funny money that we get does buy you things. Now, I don't like buying from China, but if you see deals from China that are durable goods, buy them. Because right now, you want something that is a long-term investment, not just in silver, but in a practical way. And that is really why I really put out a lot of different subjects on this channel, because I'm looking for, things that help people in the long term. And I'm avoiding the fluff, the garbage that's major trends on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And I know I've been criticized for I don't go by a script. I don't ever go by a script, actually, when I get on here. Largely, I have an idea what I'm going to say, but I don't go by a script. And that's on purpose. You know why that is? Because it's real. Some people say, I repeat myself, but I'll tell you one reason I do that deliberately, because I know it's like some people get it the first time and they get aggravated. They heard it three more times or four times more, but usually that's not how it works with everybody. If you want to reach most of the people, you got to say it several times. I know some people that pisses them off, but that I'm not like forgetting that I said something. That's why I do that. And my style is that I don't use a script because I hate people that are phony flakes that talk polite and they will just blow smoke up your wazoos because they're looking for little chumps of change to come in their pocket. I try to be as real as possible. That's why I do this. That's why that's my style. Now, one of the other things you're probably going to need to probably get besides silver, and I'm going to talk a little more about. I'm going to be talking about silver, but don't get tunnel vision. Not even just on the armchair investments like what should I invest in? Like you probably there's other things you could probably invest in, like medical marijuana or something, for crying out loud. That would be a very good investment. Silver's not the only thing that you can, just click on a button and invest in, or even if you're going to go electronically. But I just want to say that for you as a practical person, I'm going to tell you that I think the only way silver is going to really hit these astronomical heights is oil is going to have to hit astronomical heights. Now, eventually, the technology that we don't need oil, as we do today. I know it's more of a racket. There's been suppressed technologies out there for many years, and oil is the thing that's actually the demand for oil is actually what's holding up the dollar because most oil is traded in dollars, which creates demand for dollars. I think you all know that. But the only way you're really going to see silver go up, this is just like an axiom. Oil and gold are going to have to go up a lot. And usually it's oil that really leads the charge. But when I'm saying now, I got an old girl here on the old Vespa, whatever it is. You might want to invest in one of these damn things because when silver if he ever does hit the $75 to $100 or $60 to $75 or whatever, I don't know if it's going to ever hit 100. Unless we have tactical nukes blowing up in the United States or something. I'll be talking about that. But I think that it's going to have to be, well, I'm sure it is. Oil and gasoline prices are going to have to go up exponentially for silver to really get past that $50. You're not going to see silver past $50 with oil being dirt cheap, and gold and zinc and copper and palladium and aluminum and nickel. You're not going to see, they're going to be high prices all the way across the board. So, you would probably want to invest in one of these things. I mean, you could buy a little car maybe, but, maybe you don't want to do that. The scooters are cheap. Motorcycles are pretty cheap. And you might want to invest in something, or even a motorized bicycle. I'm just telling you that right now, because the landscape is going to get very tough in the future when silver goes up a lot. See, right now, be thankful in a lot of ways that silver is down. It's not just the buying opportunity, but it's not that. It's that all commodity prices are down right now. So your purchasing power with your dollars is pretty damn good. When silver goes way up, and I know the hordes are going to come out, and this is like what I titled this, the disinformation agents. They're going to be saying the end is near and all this crap, and I'm like, God. I actually look at a lot of that alternative stuff. They're almost as bad as the major media in a lot of ways, except in a different flavor. And I do suspect a lot of them are just funded by the major media and Time Warner and all that. Ben Fulford and whatever the hell. He's probably a CIA guy for all I'm pretty sure of it. And one thing I could say where I think I'm really on the ball is that I do recognize where the garbage is really coming from. It's like I can't, if I could predict the prices of even just one commodity for 6 months in a row, I would have more money than George Soros inside of like no time. But that is not in the cards. And actually, anybody that does that is not predicting. They have inside information or they're manipulating the markets. Now, obviously, one thing I have noticed is that the markets are heavily manipulated. There has been ongoing lawsuits. I've mentioned this before, even about the manipulation in the oil market since the year 2000. Even like the one that was bringing about the lawsuit was the former head of the NYMEX. But it's not just the oil, it's all the commodities. There's always been rigged, and it's not new news to you. But the thing is, um, the one thing I really, really like about silver, and I'm going to make a whole bunch of it right now because I have a lot of distilled water. I'm going to make some simple colloidal silver with the magnetic stirrer right now and probably make several quarts of it or something and keep it on hand. I haven't done that in a little while. I want to get some more of that. But that's one thing really why, if you don't have any silver, that is absolutely the number one reason you should have it. Because in the future, if we have a problem where the government healthcare system goes down and all this kind of crap, that is going to be one of your most efficient things you could do for preventing microbes and bringing up your immunity strength and than anything. Bang for the dollar, just making colloidal silver. It's not like a miracle cure, but for what you're getting, for what you're paying, oh, big time. And if everybody really knew this, everybody would be buying a few ounces, and actually that would drive the price up exponentially, no doubt about it. But the other thing you probably to look at is land values. Land actually, when you're looking at what people are, what the hell is the elite, if you want to call it, almost all of them own a lot of real estate. Almost practically all of them, because real estate could be an income producer if you're on the ball. Right now, it's one of the worst times in the world for people to even buy a house. It's like horrible. The housing market is it's bad. It's like very tough to get credit. Everybody's pretty much tapped out, and the banks would like to loan money, but they're not. They're not because people are pretty much tapped out. So one of the things actually you should be looking at for a future move after you make any sale of silver is land. Real estate actually is. It depends. It depends. I mean, you could screw up on real estate, obviously, but if you really look at anybody with any sizable wealth, almost invariably, a large percentage of their portfolio is in real estate. Yeah, it's not in. It's not in precious coins, right? It's not in bullion. Yeah, maybe some of it will be. Maybe it is in jewelry, or maybe it's in artwork. And actually, a lot of these things have gone up quite a bit, as far as like rare coins, jewelry, um, specialized artwork, collectibles, and things like that. A lot of those assets have went up exponentially because the Federal Reserve has pushed a lot of the money into the elite's hands, and they reinvest in these high-end uh, asset investments, which could be also prime real estate too, certain prime real estate. And there has been, due to the Fed policies, what we call asset inflation, not consumer price inflation, asset inflation, as the type of assets that people with more sizable wealth invest in. Eventually, we're going to get consumer price inflation. Now, like I said, you want to have silver to protect yourself, but you also want to have protection for where do you spend your money at. Like I talked about, even home heating. Like I use the little old style Perfection 1550 oil slash kerosene heater. Now I'm in Florida, but it doesn't get that cold, so I don't have to use it that much. But it does save at least $100 a month on an electric bill because using electric heat pump is and I figure what the hell, it's actually more fun. I mean, I kind of like it in a lot of ways. It's like a little fireplace, and I just use diesel fuel in it because diesel fuel's cheap. So I've been doing that. It's every penny you freaking don't spend out, and it just doesn't matter. Like, well, I'll tell you the truth. I've noticed and actually I kind of learned from the people that were smarter and more, um, elite people. I learned from them because I always noticed like these guys who have like $50 million in this stuff or more, and like I don't even want to say the guy's name, but they have like, I mean, a guy would make $20 million. Like this one guy, he made $20 million just on this one land sale. One land sale, $20 million, right? Profit, capital gain too. Not like he wasn't even like dealer in land, so it was a one-time capital gain. Um, so I always observed, how these people are with money because I was their accountant, right? And a lot of guys, I was pretty much always worked for Jewish guys. I like Jewish guys, man. I don't know why the hell it is. I don't want to name any names or nothing like that, but don't get pissed off at me because I think Jewish guys are all right. Actually, they keep things flowing. Don't. I know I put out a video about the Rothschilds and shit, but that's just here nor there. And actually the way I put that out was about industrial hemp and different angle. But I mean, people are gravitating to a lot of the wrong misconceptions of the way the world works. Actually, a lot of these Jewish businessmen keep things flowing really well. But I also noticed they don't waste money. And I look at the goy. I call him that. I'm a goy myself, man. But I look at the goy and I'm like, these guys are like, they get money, man. They blow it. I'm like, what are these guys doing, man? I don't do that. I think it's just, it's like a guy told me, one guy, Jewish guy, I don't want to, I respect the guy a lot. I mean, he says it's just wasteful. Why do you do that? And why give money to somebody that's charging you twice as much because you could afford it when this other guy is working twice as hard for half as much, right? So anyway, so the only thing you got to watch for is watch out for the gold digger on the Vespa. I'll tell you that. That's the only thing where you can fail on your money. That also is very important because it's not just money in, it's money out. So watch out for the gold digger on the Vespa. As they say, nothing colder than a gold digger with that certain gleam in her eye. So there you go. Anyways, but as far as like what's going to happen, I think that Trump actually is. Man, Trump is like some guy I can't figure out. And he's tricky dick to the max, but in a good way. He's kind of like, he's saying certain things and he's not really doing exactly what he says. But then sometimes when he's saying certain things, I think it's bad, and then he turns out it's just a scam. Like he was talking about Romney going to be the Secretary of State, and then he didn't become the Secretary of State. And I was like, good. He hit the gong on the Apprentice show and got rid of him. But he got this Tillerson guy who's like real good friends of Putin and stuff. And I said, that's good. The one thing that, the one thing that really could drive up metals is tensions between the United States and Russia. I don't want that to happen. But I think some of this stuff has probably been in the cards for a long period of time. And I'm going to enlighten you on something else here right now because these political things are a major driving force in what can happen in the silver, gold, and oil markets. A lot of people don't realize that, when we had the strategic defense initiative and stuff, the what do you call it? They were never had tactical nuclear weapons as part of those deals. In other words, they're talking about strategic nuclear weapons. So what the hell's the United States and Russia doing? They're building up their arsenals of tactical nuclear weapons, which, they blow up like a third of a mile or a quarter of a mile and all this kind of crap. And NATO is expanding like crazy on the Russian borders. Now, I know Russia's not a bunch of freaking saints, Putin's not a I don't want to criticize. My opinion is I know what Putin's about. I know he's not Mr. Teddy Bear, freaking Santa Claus out to save the world from the Rothschilds like these other idiots think. But I also, and I know what he is. He's not like Mr. Nice Guy. But I would definitely work with the guy big time because I think the United States and Russia cooperating, we run the world. That's it. I don't think we should get in any kind of conflict. But I think the way things are going with NATO, it's like they're pushing for a conflict. And, that's bad news. I mean, yeah, maybe your gold and silver and oil prices will go way the hell up, but overall, it's extremely bad news. It does look that way. It does look that way. Now, also, I want to say that, on my channel, I have a lot of alternative health videos out here, and, one of the reasons you ought to look into this because it's all, not that colloidal silver is like the be-all, end-all of everything, but actually everything out there is curable. Not only do you want to look at your your wealth, you want to look at your health. And people actually don't really pay attention much to it unless they have a problem. And really what you really want to do is practice a lot of preventative medicine big time. Because you want to be as healthy, vibrant, alert, positive thinking as possible, and be full of life. Because when people talking about silver, I mean, like, okay, so you had $1 gazillion and you were a broken down old piece of crap like George Soros. Well, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes no matter what. You know what I mean? So and the other thing is, I know there's another thing, and don't get pissed off at me if you're Mrs. Christian out there left and right, but I know a lot of you people aren't, and you're hedonist. The other thing is with preventative medicine, they could probably stop and cure every STD on the planet with some of this alternative stuff, including the herbs and foods and organics and garlic and whatever, and maybe some of the frequencies out there. Besides maybe injecting real nano silver into the veins, right? Um, but let me just say that you will not get these from a medical place unless you get a court order, right? Like injecting vitamin C into the veins and all that type of stuff, or using nano silver into the veins. You'd have to do it with a court order. But what I have to say about that is that the system is rigged against us from every which way from Sunday. In other words, it's not just the Fed. It's not just what's going on in Washington, D.C. It's all across the board. And the only way to fight him back is like you got to really be independent in every respect of the word. And, silver is part of that. It's part of the equation, but it's not the whole be-all, end-all of the equation. I like silver. I think palladium is probably going to do the best as a metal as far as going up, percentage-wise. But I do like silver as like a permanent investment, actually, because of the medical reasons. You'd be an idiot not to keep a bunch of ounces of that stuff on hand because of what it can do medically to make colloidal and nano, silver. You can make it yourself with the right equipment. Even the cheap stuff with the batteries doesn't do a bad job. But I just have to say that we are extremely vulnerable today, and I think a lot of people don't realize it. But is because we have a just-in-time delivery system in society, and we got more and more people crowded into the cities. We got more and more people out there that are not independent-minded. They don't know how to grow food. They don't know how any skills, like how to do things or just anything. I mean, I know I see a lot of YouTube. Sometimes I look at YouTube and I see survival videos, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's great. But, you almost need to have that practical know-how city survival videos like how to do plumbing and electrical, maybe set up a portable generator and whatever. People don't even have that, and the vast majority of our people. That's why I think it could be. It could be that one little thing sets off a chain reaction that causes a good part of our society in the United States to fall apart. Now, honestly, I definitely will be sticking with the metals investments, but I think where things might get really bad is probably just not right away, because I think Trump's going to build up our military in the beginning. But as we get into that critical point of the debt going up more and more, the debt bomb, we're going to find that there's going to be a diminishing of our military strength and an erosion of U.S. power throughout the world. Now, I don't like worrying about this shit all the time because there's other things in the world that are more important, and there's other things more important things in the world that are more important than silver and anything else. And like Triumph motorcycles and hot chicks are actually far more important than that. But I have to tell you that I know these doom and gloomers are out there talking about the end of the earth, but that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? The earth's been around for millions and millions of years, right? But let me just tell you that I think that we're going to come up to a time where there's going to be major problems. The world has never been run off of electronic money, as much debt as we have, and as much dependence upon or interdependence on different systems where people, like, you got so many people work in offices that are bureaucracies basically, and just pushing government regulations one way or another, even though they work in a corporation because they're complying with something else, right? Whether it's some HIPAA laws or something, or immigration I-9s or whatever the hell they're doing, or the what the hell is that? Sarbanes-Oxley, whatever the hell. I forgot what the hell that damn thing is. That the laws that were passed later on, um, and they don't know anything else. I mean, they might be experts in banking or construction accounting. Like I was doing a lot of construction accounting, but I know a lot of other stuff. Most people don't know anything. They only know their one little thing, and that's all they know. So they get in their little Econobox car to go to their home, which is in their, it has an HOA, homeowners association, and it's gated community, and they got their irrigation system. If that all comes down, it'll be like living in a hellhole that just fell apart, and I think it can come down very quickly. I'm not pushing doom and gloom here, but I think it can come down very quickly. So, your only defense should not just be silver. There's no doubt about that. You need to invest in other things. Now, I got on a knife kick lately here because that might be something you probably should invest in. Don't go thinking about it in the Hollywood fashion. It's an extremely useful tool that could probably last you for many years. You'd be surprised what you could do with that damn thing. Make wood, start fire, I don't know, you can even build with the damn thing, for crying out loud. As a cutting tool, you can actually cut things up and axe and all this kind of crap. You should invest in some of those things too. As far as where the price of silver is going to go, I think it's going to start taking off here pretty hard because of the oil prices going up. It's surprising the gold prices aren't going up too. But I know why the oil prices are going up. Like I already told you, the reason was because there's an agreement between Saudi of the OPEC and Russia to cut oil production. But by them cutting oil production, it's also going to raise the price of oil. Of course, it's also going to fill up the Russian coffers. Now, it's good that Trump has chosen people that can get along with Russia much better, like the new Secretary of State Tillerson. But on the other side, I don't think that's the whole 9 yards of what everything's happening behind the scenes, because there's a lot of people, obviously, that are on the Western side that are deliberately trying to push Russia into a conflict. And, just because Trump is elected, and I know Russia, I tell you the truth, Trump, he might be okay. Nothing might not happen to him, because I also picked up that his security forces, that is chose as independent security forces that will oversee the Secret Service. The Secret Service they make sure the Secret Service is loyal to him. His special independent security forces is all tied in with the Russian KGB. Now, I'm not saying the Russian KGB is a bunch of saints, but I think Trump is very smart for doing that. My premise is that I know the oligarchs and Putin is corrupt as all hell. I know that. I said it enough on his channel, man. I know that. And if you guy ever watches my channel, he's probably going to be pissed off at me big time. But honestly, I think that Russia and the United States needs to work very, very tightly together. Now, I don't like the way a lot of the Russians think that are on the top, because they got heads bigger than Bullwinkle, and Putin's another one of them for sure. He's got a head really big. He's got an ego. Yeah, I know. Sorry, Mr. Vlad, but I know the deal. And everybody around him, they got to kiss their ass. That's the thing. I don't like that. I don't like that at all in any respect. But as far as the alternative, us going against Russia and us and Russia and the United States going at it, that to me is be the worst possible scenario going. And there's obviously, if Hillary Clinton got in, that would have happened. I don't doubt about it, man. Holy smokes. But, there's still the same forces behind the scenes are still there. So I think, it might start going that way no matter what, even though Trump's in office, even though Trump's going to be in office. I just think that policy isn't really dictated by one guy. He influences it, but he ain't the whole 9 yards. So in the meantime, don't invest completely in silver all the time. It is a buy right now, but if you it's not just like buying something for an investment, but some of the things I could think of, I was kind of surprised. I never thought of that before, but a tool that is high quality whether it's whatever, that could be used for a number of things, would be a very good investment. Now, there could be tools that you use like hand tools, and there could also be knives, axes, and things like that are very good, hammers and things, whatever. If you don't have those things, and if you have those things, you might want to get better quality too, because when it comes right down to it, or farming tools for crying out loud, or gardening tools, but when it comes right down to it, um, you can't eat silver, you can't build with silver, you can't defend yourself with silver. You need other things. So, a lot of times the silver aficionados always talk about the end is coming and all this kind of crap. Well, there might be a serious adjustment coming up. Yeah, there might be. I don't know when, for sure. But, obviously, I look at, other facts that are out there. The retail sector this year really sucked. It did. Um, Now, on my channel, do not think I get paid to push any products on my channel. I don't ever. Okay, it's just stuff I buy that I think is extremely good value after I do as much research as possible, and I just pass on other people. Um, the I think that the retail sector has really been piss poor this year, but people should spend on essential things. Avoid Apple Watches and iPhones and the latest crap, that electronic crap that comes out, because with the exception of somebody maybe these experimental medical devices, but because these other things they just go by the wayside. It's like I remember buying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of software and hardware that's just a pile of crap right now, and I look at stuff I bought umpteen years ago, like guns and knives and axes, and they're still freaking good, and tools that are made in the USA, and they're still good. They're still good, and I still use them, and they work just like they're brand new. Um, I am actually kind of a techno buff, and but I don't really think that's always a good investment. But often it's not. Often it's not. So anyway, been lengthy on this, but I want to give you a little more common sense now. As far as me predicting the price of silver, I mean, yeah, okay, I did a good job on predicting the price of oil for the end of the year, right? Okay. Um, I did not do a good job, obviously, on predicting the price of silver for the end of the year, because I thought it was going to be around $20, which it doesn't make sense to me. Well, it does somewhat, because usually, but you know what? When oil's going up like this, they don't run together exactly, oil and silver or in gold. But oil usually is leading the charge. And oil, I think, is going to be up around $65 a barrel by March 31st, 2017. Eventually, that's going to cause silver to go up to at least the mid 20s. Easy. And like I said, for silver to get over 50, oil is going to have to be way the hell up there, like at least $140 or $150 a barrel. And you say, yeah, that can't be. Well, yeah, it could be, because that's how these jerks make money. All it's got to do is throw some stories out there. Oh, they blew up a refinery. Well, whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, there's going to be plenty of oil on the earth. It's just going to cost you a lot more money. So anyway, I've been lengthy on this, but do not trust, the system to actually keep going. But if you yourself are the system and you think independently, you will survive. But you can't just sit on your ass and think, oh, I got silver, I'm saved. And number two, do not trust the government. I don't give a damn how sweet they freaking talk. I mean, I'm not just talking about the Federal Reserve, the politicians, and all that kind of crap. They are pretty much anybody who works for the government, whether it's I don't even want to knock the cops too much, but they could be pretty bad, but they're generally not the worst ones. It's usually the politicians, the legislators, the DAs, and all these people, the regulators behind the scenes, a lot of psycho freaking people that run corrections and stuff, torture the shit out of prisoners or whatever they do. Um, those kind of people, are really the problem. They are a racket unto themselves. And the only thing that keeps them in power is the public image, because the public keeps thinking, oh, as long as I don't do anything wrong, I won't get in trouble. Now, because they are a racket, they're like a mafia racket themselves. And I actually tell you the truth, the mafia itself came about due to that. Government that is just corrupt. That's really why it came about. That is why today, even in Sicily, you'll hear about somebody that escaped the being detection of the authorities for 30 years and finally was captured. You know how he escaped detection of the authorities for 30 years? The people in Sicily, for centuries, still have a absolute mistrust of government. And I tell you what, you should too. You should too, because this is really what I'm telling you, the freaking real deal. I don't work for Time Warner. I don't work for no freaking broadcasting agency or nothing like that. Nobody's paying. CIA ain't paying me, that's for sure. And I'm telling you the freaking flat out truth. But it's not like, don't get tunnel vision on one investment. But the indication, the one major indication, again, like I said, I'm repeating myself for the third time, that silver's going to go way the hell up, or fourth time, fifth time, is that oil's already taken that charge. If silver is still down, in March 31st, 2017, and oil's at $65 a barrel, don't lose faith, because it's at one point in time, it's gonna actually, that gains on oil, those silver gains will percentage wise exceed the oil gains. The metal is like very volatile and it's very, very unpredictable, but the overall trend is going to have to be led by the oil prices, and that looks like that is set in stone. Once Russia has now, and Saudi has made the agreement to cut production, there's definitely going to be massive increases in oil prices. It's going to keep going up. And it's going to affect silver and gold eventually, definitely. There's no doubt about it. And it could very well lead to more tensions between the United States and Russia, possibly. But I hope not. I hope Trump's got this crap locked on. But he's going to be building up the military, and Russia is going to be building up their military with all their oil revenue. So there